Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm feeling better. I'm even getting my voice back a little bit, but like I told you yesterday, I went ahead and put all my work off till next week, so I'm still kind of just riding on the pine today. And the nice thing about sitting around with nothing but your thoughts is I come up with little ideas on things to help teach in the HVAC industry. And, you know, sheet metal is kind of a lost art with a lot of people. And today I have a pretty fun one for you. It's how to make a field reducer. Let's say you're out in the field and you're running some 8-inch pipe and you're like, oh, shoot, that boot is a 6-inch round. What am I going to do? Am I going to try to do the hokey thing and turn that 8-inch into a 6-inch cone, which never really turns out right? You never really feel good about it. I'm going to show you how to make a field reducer, an 8-to-6 reducer, and this method would work for any size of pipe. I think it's pretty cool, and I used to make these all the time because I used to forget to get my fittings. And if you run into the parts house, you're not making money. Your boss won't be happy if you have a boss who's not going to be happy that you're running the parts house for something really stupid. They, you know, if you're the owner of a business, you take note of this stuff if your employees are forgetting things, and you don't want them thinking that about you. So think on the fly, know how to adapt, and you'll go far in this industry. So yeah, here's a 8-to-6 field reducer for you. All right, so what we have here is we have our piece of 8-inch pipe here, our piece of 6-inch pipe here, and a little bit of flat stock. If you have that on your truck, you can get yourself out of a jam real easy by making your own 8-to-6 reducer. We're not going to do like some guys do, where we just fold this in and cut your pipe down and make it 6 and then make it like a cone. You don't have to do that. This is a much easier way to make that transition in the field if you do not have the proper reducer. And this will work with any size you're trying to go to. If you're going 12-to-10, 8-to-6, 9-to-7, whatever it may be, it'll work for you. All right, so basically all the tools that you need to make these is your tape measure, your snips, your black marker, Sharpie, and your 1-inch notchers, and then also your drill with a 1/4-inch bit. I'll flip that around, and some 1/2-inch zip screws. Let me show you how it's done. All right, so what I like to do is I'll cut each of the pieces 4. So let's say you got a scrap of 6 and 8 and you're trying to make an 8-to-6 reducer on site. We'll make each 4 inches. So you can make it whatever. You can make it 3 probably and still work. So 4. I'm not going to draw that out. I'll just cut it just like that. I'll just cut it. I'm pretty good at cutting, so I don't draw a line all the way around. If you're just starting out cutting round pipe, draw your 4-inch all the way around. I'm just going to eyeball it. And as you can see, I was way off, but that's okay. We can clean it up. We can clean it up. It's not a big deal. No one ever said I was perfect. And that's good, just like that. Okay? Let's do the 8-inch, and then we'll move on to the next part of this. All right, we got our 4-inch tall piece of 6-inch, 4-ish, and then our 4-inch tall piece of 8-inch here. So how do we make this a reducer with minimal effort in the field so it doesn't waste us a bunch of time? Let me show you. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of 8-inch flat stock, or 8-inch round here, onto our flat stock, and we're going to trace this out. Utilize our metal the best here, and we'll just trace around our 8-inch here. Okay, just like so. Now we got our 8-inch round here. We're going to cut that out. And it actually works better. It's a lot easier to do if you use 24 gauge metal. Obviously this pipe isn't, but this is. It just makes it more sturdy. I'll cut this out. You could also use dividers to make this 8" as well. That'll work if you prefer. I just trace it because I got the pipe here. This is just a quick get you out of a jam field thing is what this is. Take that little hard edge off there. There you got your 8" round there. What do we do next? Okay, our next step is to take your trusty scribe, and you're going to scribe a 1" all the way around your round here. You could also take a marker and just draw a 1" in. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're just trying to get ourselves out of a jam here. Well, you can get your job done and move on to the next one. So I got that scribed. We're going to go ahead and I got to go get my drill with my unibit. We're going to drill that out, and then we're just going to cut this out. I'll show you how that's done. All right, so now what we want to do, drill this out. My bit is very dull. Okay, just like that. That'll allow us to get our snips in there. We'll snip that out. All right, there's our 8" round with a 1" strip on the inside. So that gives us a 6" on our inside diameter. So how do we, you're probably wondering, Josh, how the heck are we going to make that work? How are we going to make that go on there? Let me show you. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 1" notchers, and we're going to notch all the way around this guy. And we're also going to take our 6" and we're going to notch all the way around him. Let's get these notched, and I'll show you what they look like, and then I'll show you how we do assembly. And if you don't have notchers, you can just take your snips and do 1" tabs. Notchers just make it a little easier and nicer. Let's work it all the way around. Make each of your tabs about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so. Make them easy to bend. Work it around, all the way around. This also works if you need to make your own takeoff in the field or something too. If you don't have an airtight takeoff or a spinning collar or a tab collar, you just didn't order one or something, don't have enough, you can make yourself one. That looks just like that. Okay, we'll do the 6". Okay, got that one all ready to rock and roll. I'll show you what we do next. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bend all of our tabs in, except for 4 equally spaced. They're going to go out. And we're going to do the same thing with this guy, and I'll show you why once we start assembly here in a second. But yeah, all of our tabs are going to get bent in, except for 4 of them equally spaced. All these are going to get bent in, except 4 equally spaced. Okay? Okay, so the first thing I like to do is take the tab that's on the joint, because it's going to be hard to bend with your hands, is just take your linemans and just bend that one in with your linemans first. So bend it a 90-degree in. Okay, that way you don't have to worry about bending that one with your hand. Then you can continue on with the rest of them. So then I do is just go, there's my one out, in, kind of see where your 4 sides are going to be, so we can bend that one out, in, and we want to go straight across from that one, so put that one out, in, and then we want to go straight across from this guy, right there. Equally spaced as you can get it. Doesn't have to be perfect. So you're going to have it looking just like that. We'll do the same thing this 6-inch, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got our 8-inch with all of our tabs bent in except 4 equally spaced. We got our little ring here, ring deal, and we got our 6-inch here. Now notice those aren't bent all the way in. There's a reason why, because these are actually going to get bent back out. These ones are going to stay where they're at. Let's do some assembly. All right, so first thing we want to do, take our ring here, put him on. Then we're going to bend these over the top to lock him in place. If you cut all your pieces properly, it should work. Okay. And I mean, you could honestly, if you pookied this up real good, you wouldn't even need to use screws, but I'm going to, just for the heck of it. Grab a few here. And my bit fell off. And just put a screw in each of your tabs here. That's what you got there. If you look on the inside, you know, that's why it's nice to use heavier gauge metal, because your tabs aren't going to be all flippy and floppy. So just take this and pookie the hell out of this real good, okay? And then you're going to take your 6-inch here. And this one's going to be done a little bit differently. So now we can flip this over, okay? Let me show you what that looks like. Second. So here's your 6-inch. Here is your 8-inch with its little doodad on the inside there. Just going to drop that on top. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to bend these tabs over, okay, and probably pop a couple screws in the out tabs on the 6-inch. Let's get on with it. Let me show you. All right, bend these tabs in. Oh, when I screwed up, I should have made my seam one an out tab, because then I'm gonna have a hard time bending that. I'll get my alignments on them. This is a real nice way to make a reducer when you don't have one. Let's see if we can get our alignments and bend that over. It's looking like that. Try to get it pulled over. I'm not going to get the camera on it. And if it stays sticking out, it stays sticking out, is what it is. Yeah, we'll just leave him out. It's not gonna hurt anything. So yeah, that's what the inside looks like. All your tabs, that's what your juicer looks like. Okay. Let's get some screws in this, and we'll do some, so your airflow is going this way, so we're going to crimp this. I should have crimped it beforehand, but that's okay. We can do it after. We'll go ahead and get this crimped and sealed, and I'll show you what the final product looks like. Kind of fun making this stuff. You just got, it takes a little bit of common sense. Okay, and if you want, you know, as you're doing this, you notice that this isn't down. You can always stick a screw through your end tab too. If your tab will stay there. Open up your finger here. You know, you could give it a little more strength here. Let's see how it's popping up too. So we'll just pop another one in there. Here we go. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's functional, okay? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get this crimped. All right, let's get the 6-inch crimped. Just like that. Okay, now we'll apply some of this beautiful pookie to it. Now, if you were doing this in the field and you didn't want to stop working and this would keep you, moving down the chain or whatever, you don't have to pookie it yet. Just pookie it after it's installed. I'm going to go ahead and pookie it now, just because let's just assume this could sit out in the sun for a good 20 minutes and it would dry. Always be very liberal with your pookie, mastic. Doesn't help that my bucket is just about empty and it's all hardened in there. Okay, see how I got like gaps and stuff there? That's okay. We can fill that in. That's why you want to be liberal with this stuff. Just let it dry thoroughly. It'll dry very hard. And if you take a little more time, you could probably make this a little more perfect, but it's very functional, which is the main thing. Not a beauty contest, especially when you're doing metal duct. If this is in a crawl space or an attic, you're going to wrap it anyway. If it's exposed, you can take your time and do a little nicer of a job than I did. Or if it's exposed, do the right thing and just order one from a shop that looks nicer. Take your time. Sealing is very important, so we want to take our time with it. Make sure you got no gaps anywhere. Just like so. All right, so there you have it. A field 8-to-6 reducer if you don't have one. Very functional. It'll work. I can literally probably do this in 5 to 10 minutes on site. That way I can keep moving on my job. I'm not having to run to a parts house, and I can make money and move on to my next project. So I think it worked just fine. You're going to run across this if you get into HVAC, especially if you're an installer. You're going to run into instances where you need to think on the fly and know how to get things done. And maybe you forgot to order that 8-to-6 reducer you needed. All you had was 8 and 6-inch scrap and a little bit of scrap metal. You can make it happen. Make your boss happy, because he's going to be happy that you didn't have to run to the parts house, because when you guys are sitting at the parts house, you are not making him any money.